Tracking the week, on Monday, President Bola Tinubu suspended the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, with immediate effect. A statement by the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, said this was in line with President Tinubu's avowed commitment to upholding the highest standards of integrity, transparency and accountability in the management of the Commonwealth of Nigerians. Ngelale said the president also directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to conduct a thorough investigation into all aspects of the financial transactions involving the ministry as well as one or more agencies thereunder. He said the suspended minister was also directed to hand over to the permanent secretary of the ministry. She was further directed by the president to fully cooperate with investigating authorities as they conduct their investigation. Furthermore, President Tinubu tasked a panel headed by the coordinating Minister of Economy and Minister of Finance to, among other functions, conduct a comprehensive diagnosis of the financial architecture and framework of the social investment programs. Also on Monday, the Supreme Court dismissed an appeal against the election of Governor Hyacinth Alia of Benue State. This followed the withdrawal of the appeal by counsel to Titus Uba of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Sebastian Hon. Uba had challenged the victory of Hyacinth Alia of the All Progressives Congress (APC). However, both the Election Petitions Tribunal and the Court of Appeal Abuja affirmed Alia's election as governor following his declaration by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as the winner of the March 18 governorship poll. The Court of Appeal had said it lacked the jurisdiction to hear the petition as it was a pre-election matter. The court held that Uba ought to have prosecuted the forgery allegations against Sam Ode, the deputy governor, at the High Court. It also held that Uba failed to prove allegations of forgery against Ode beyond reasonable doubt. On Tuesday, in a bid to entrench prudence in governance, President Tinubu directed immediate reduction of members of his entourage to local and international travels. This was in response to the public outrage over the number of persons and officials that accompanied the president to COP28 summit, which held in November 2023. Nigeria was said to have been represented at the summit by 1,411 contingents, raising eyebrows over the escorts that may have been lavished at the event. Addressing State House correspondents, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, said the president directed that henceforth only 20 officials will accompany him to any international engagement, while 25 personnel is approved for his entourage during a local trip. Ngelale said the president also approved 5 personnel each for the vice president and his wife's foreign travels, while only 15 and 10 officials will be in their companies during their local travels, respectively. Also on Tuesday, a federal high court in Abuja adjourned a fresh 1 billion naira suit filed by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed Indigenous People Biafra (IPOB), against the federal government until March 4 for hearing. Justice James Omotosho postponed the matter due to the absence of Kanu's counsel in court. When the case was called, Kanu, the applicant, was not represented, while the lawyers for the defendants were present. Recall that Kanu, through his lawyer Aloy Ejimako, filed the latest suit for the enforcement of his fundamental rights while in detention. The suit listed the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Attorney General of the Federation, Department of State Service (DSS), and its Director General as the first to fourth respondents, respectively. The suit was filed in accordance with Order 2, Rules 1 and 2 of the Fundamental Rights Enforcement Procedure Rules 2009, among others. Kanu sought 8 reliefs in the motion. He requested a declaration that the seizure and photocopying of confidential legal documents by the respondent pertaining to facilitating the preparation of his defense violated his rights to be defended by legal practitioners of his own choice. Additionally, he sought declarations regarding the prevention of his counsel from taking notes during professional discussions, eavesdropping on confidential consultations with his lawyers, and alleged infringement on his right to fair hearing. On Wednesday, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) arraigned a former Minister of Power and Steel Development, Olu Agunloye, before Justice J.O. Onwegbuzie of the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court, Akko, Abuja. He was arraigned on 7-count charges bordering on fraudulent award of contract and official corruption. The former minister pleaded not guilty to all the charges when they were read to him. Thereafter, prosecution counsel Abba Mohammed prayed the court for a trial date and to remand the defendant in a correctional center. On his part, the defense counsel Adola Adedipe San informed the court that he has filed a bail application for the defendant and prayed the court to grant him bail and commit him to the custody of the EFCC. Justice Onwegbuzie ruled that the defendant be remanded in Kuje Correctional Center and set Thursday, January 11, 2024 for hearing on the bail application. Still on Wednesday, Civil War veterans of the Nigerian Armed Forces threatened to block all federal roads nationwide over non-payment of 45 years pension arrears to its members. The retired personnel, mainly comprising over 700 ex-servicemen from all zones of the country except the southeast, who served for between 10 to 15 years, staged a warning protest in Ibadan. Armed with placards of various inscriptions to draw the attention of the federal government to their plight, the national coordinator staged a warning protest in Ibadan, armed with placards with various inscriptions to draw the attention of the federal government to their plight. The national coordinator, the able voluntary discharged soldiers of 10 years and above, less than 15 years, Corporal Babawande Philip, who spoke with Galaxy News, said more than 100 of the members have died as a result of poverty, while several members are currently physically challenged. Philip lamented that their counterparts for the Biafran army have since been paid by the Obasanjo administration, describing the situation as unfair. He said in 2015 they did capturing in Abuja, where every one of them was issued with genuine pensioners form, and since 2015 they have been waiting till date. On Thursday, a few hours after dissolving the board of directors governing Polaris, Union and Keystone Banks, the Central Bank of Nigeria appointed new executive directors to oversee the affairs of the deposit money banks. The Apex Bank, in a statement signed by the acting director of corporate communications, Sidi Hakama, released on Thursday morning, said the appointment took immediate effect. According to the statement, Yetunde Oni, the first female CEO of the Standard Chartered Bank in Sierra Leone, was appointed as the CEO Union Bank, while Manir Ubali Ringim was selected as the ED of the Tier 2 bank. For Keystone Bank, Hassan Imam was appointed as its CEO, while Chioma Mang got the position of the ED. Also, the bank appointed Lawal Mudathir Omokayode Akintola as the CEO Polaris Bank and Chris Ofikolu as its executive director. Hence, the Apex Bank, in the exercise of its regulatory powers, said the dissolution of the boards became necessary due to the non-compliance of the banks and their respective boards with the provisions of the Financial Institutions Act 2020. Still on Thursday, the Supreme Court dismissed 3 separate appeals brought before it by some governorship candidates seeking nullification of the election of Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno Basi on account of alleged certificate forgery. The petitions were those of APC, YPP, and NNPP. Lead counsel to the respective parties withdrew their separate appeals following the hint from the court's panel of justices that they have no merit. The petition by APC and its candidate Akanimo Dofia, YPP and its candidate Akpan Albert Bersi, as well as that of NNPP and its candidate John James Akpan Udoide, were thrown out by Justice Uwani Abba Aji upon their withdrawal. Their argument, especially forgery allegations, did not go down well with the Apex Court justices, who queried the lawyer on whether the West African Examination Council WAEC gave evidence to establish the criminal allegations. Upon admission that WAEC did not testify in the matter, the lawyers opted and separately withdrew the appeal. Finally, on Friday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu suspended all administered programs by the National Social Investment Program Agency, NSIPA. This was in furtherance to the ongoing investigation of alleged malfeasance in the management of the agency and its programs. A statement signed by Segun Imohiose, the Director, Information in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation (SGF), said all 4 programs administered by NSIPA, viz. N-Power, Conditional Cash Transfer, Government Enterprise and Empowerment, and Homegrown School Feeding, have been suspended for a period of 6 weeks in the first instance. Imohiose said President Bola Tinubu also raised significant concerns regarding operational lapses and improprieties surrounding payments to the program's beneficiaries. He said the president then constituted a ministerial panel to conduct a thorough review of the agency's operation with a view to recommending necessary reforms of the agency. During the period of the suspension, all NSIPA-related activities, including but not limited to all distributions, events, payments, collaborations, and registrations, were frozen. The president assured the stakeholders and all Nigerians that his administration remains committed to a swift and unbiased process that will ensure that going forward, social intervention programs work exactly as intended to the benefit of most vulnerable Nigerians. Lastly, the Supreme Court delivered 8 different judgments bordering on disputes from the 2023 governorship election in some states of the Federation. The Apex Court, in its unanimous judgment, reinstated 3 governors of Kano, Zamfara, and Plateau State who were earlier sacked by lower courts. The appeals were fallout of the March 18 governorship elections in Nigeria. After the determination of the matters by the election petition tribunals and appeal courts, appellants not satisfied with the outcome approached the Supreme Court for final determination of their cases. The appeals, which were laid to rest on Friday, were from Lagos, Bauchi, Kano, Zamfara, Ebonyi, Abia, Plateau, and Cross River states. For Lagos and Bauchi states, the Apex Court dismissed the appeal by the Labour Party and People's Democratic Party and upheld the election of Babajide Sanwo-Olu and Governor Bala Mohammed, respectively. For Kano State, the Supreme Court, in its unanimous judgment, allowed the appeal of Governor Abba Yusuf of the New Nigerian People's Party (NNPP), while the court also upheld the election victory of Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State. And that is all in Tracking the Week.